7 red flags every woman should watch for on a first date. Have you ever walked away from a date feeling confused, like something felt off, but you couldn't fully explain why? Because sometimes the biggest red flags don't scream. They whisper. And the scary part is, a lot of women ignore those whispers because the guy is charming, attractive, confident, or says all the right things. But chemistry can blind you to character. So before you get emotionally attached, here are 7 first date red flags every woman should pay attention to. And trust me, the last one is the one most women excuse until it's too late. Red flag number 1. He talks about himself the entire time. If a man never asks about you on the first date, believe him when he shows you who matters most. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone talks a little more when they're nervous. That's normal. But there's a huge difference between nervous excitement and complete self-obsession. If the entire conversation somehow keeps circling back to him, his money, his ex, his gym routine, his achievements, his problems, his opinions, and by the end of the date, he barely knows anything about you. That's not confidence. That's self-centeredness. A man who's genuinely interested in you will naturally want to know you, not just impress you. You spend 2 hours listening to him talk about his business, his car, his childhood, his travel stories. Then suddenly he says, "Wow, this was amazing. I feel like we really connected." Meanwhile, you said maybe 6 sentences the whole night. Attention without curiosity is not genuine interest. Red flag number 2. He moves way too fast. Be careful of men who try to create deep emotional intimacy before they've earned basic trust. Some men will act like your soulmates within hours. They'll say things like, "I've never met anyone like you. You feel different. I can already tell you're special." And yes, it feels exciting. But real connection takes time. A man who's rushing emotional closeness on the very first date may be more interested in intensity than consistency. Because some people confuse fast feelings with real feelings. By the end of dinner, he's already talking about future trips together, introducing you to his family, or how he can see something serious with you, even though he barely knows your middle name. Healthy love grows steadily. Manipulation usually rushes. Red flag number 3. He treats other people badly. One of the biggest mistakes women make is only paying attention to how a man treats them. Pay attention to how he treats waiters, cashiers, drivers, cleaners, especially people he doesn't need anything from. Because character always shows up eventually. A man who's rude, arrogant, dismissive, or entitled toward others will eventually direct that same behavior toward you once the impressing you phase fades away. Kindness is not something a good man performs only when it benefits him. He's sweet to you all evening, then snaps at the waitress because the food took too long, rolls his eyes at staff, or acts superior to everyone around him. That's not confidence. That's a warning sign. How someone treats others today is how they'll treat you tomorrow. Red flag number 4. He keeps bringing up his ex. If his ex is still emotionally sitting at the table with you, he's probably not ready to date. Now, mentioning an ex once or twice isn't automatically bad. But if the conversation constantly drifts back to her, that's different, especially if there's still bitterness, anger, obsession, or unresolved emotions attached. You should never feel like you're competing with someone who isn't even there. Because emotionally unavailable people often seek distraction, not connection. Every topic somehow becomes, "My ex used to do this. My ex hated that. My ex broke me." And suddenly, your date starts feeling more like unpaid therapy. If someone hasn't healed from their past, they'll bleed on your future. Red flag number 5. He ignores your boundaries. A man who ignores small boundaries early on will usually ignore bigger ones later too. This one matters more than women realize. Maybe you say you don't drink much and he keeps pressuring you. Maybe you say you're not comfortable going back to his place and he keeps insisting. Maybe you say no to something small and he keeps pushing. Pay attention. Respectful men don't try to wear your boundaries down. And honestly, a man who gets irritated when you say no is showing you exactly how he handles not getting what he wants. You clearly say, I'd rather head home tonight. But instead of respecting that, he keeps bargaining, come on, just for a little while. Don't be boring. You're overthinking. That pressure is not romantic. The right man will never make you feel guilty for protecting your comfort. Red flag number 6. Everything feels too sexual too quickly if he turns every conversation sexual on the first date. Pay attention to what he's actually pursuing. Flirting is normal. Attraction is normal. But there's a difference between chemistry and constant sexual pressure. If every compliment becomes sexual, every joke becomes sexual, every topic somehow returns to your body, then chances are he's more interested in access than emotional connection. A man who truly values you won't make you feel like your only worth is physical. You try talking about your goals, your interests, your passions, and somehow he keeps dragging the conversation back to your appearance or what he wants to do to you physically. Lust talks fast. Genuine interest listens first. Red flag number 7. You leave feeling drained instead of safe. Sometimes your body notices danger before your mind catches up. This is the red flag women ignore the most. If you leave the date feeling anxious, emotionally exhausted, confused, pressured, insecure, or strangely uneasy, don't ignore that feeling just because the man was attractive or charming. Your intuition exists for a reason. Not every red flag is dramatic. Sometimes it's simply the absence of peace. Healthy connections usually feel calm, not chaotic. You get home, and instead of smiling naturally or feeling excited, you feel tense replaying conversations in your head, trying to convince yourself the date was probably fine. That feeling matters. Never talk yourself out of a bad feeling just because someone looked good on paper. The truth is, red flags rarely look dangerous in the beginning. That's why so many women ignore them. Because sometimes the warning signs come wrapped in charm, confidence, attraction, attention, and chemistry. But the earlier you notice unhealthy patterns, the less heartbreak you'll have to recover from later. So tell me in the comments, what's the biggest first date red flag you think women ignore too often? And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this before their next date.